Good morning, everyone. We are sitting at a unreal viewpoint. Swede Terrace here in Vilnius. I will show you the view. There we are. We decided just to come here in the morning, have a nice sit down and speak some facts, because in this video we will be showing you guys the forgotten village of Vilnius.
I'm not quite sure what the name of it is, but...
No, we've kind of just given it that name, but you'll see why we are calling it that later on in the video when we get there.
But a quick fact, this building behind us, the Radisson Blu Hotel, is an ex-Soviet building, and the Radisson Blu we went to in Latvia, Riga, they also have the same one, because the Soviets built 3 different hotels in the Baltics for tourists, and this one was originally named Lithuania in Lithuanian, and then Latvian, Estonia. So yeah, it's an ex-Soviet building, and it was the only one tourists could go to.
Yeah, so only tourists was allowed in that building. No locals or anything like that. Strictly only the tourists. And our guide was telling us a story about how her grandfather had to visit in there, even though he was a local. He was doing a business deal in there, and when people got the chance to go in there, they actually didn't really care about the scenery. They kind of just wanted to talk to the foreigners about, I don't know, it was kind of weird. They wanted to know how they smell, what they wore, what they looked like, how they spoke. They were really interested in it because they didn't really get to see them every day over here. So when they did get a chance to go in there, that's kind of what they focused on. So just remember, if you see a Radisson Blu, it is an ex-Soviet building. Specifically in the Baltics.
But you'd know.
Yeah.
The building's grey.
It looks like it. So yeah, that is the first fact of the day. We are currently sitting at the Swede Bank viewpoint, like Olivia said, and about 5 minutes from here, we'll get to the destination where we want to shoot the whole video. The video might be a little shorter, but it's because we're only focusing on this little village, on this little small town, because I think it's so interesting, and the facts there.
Explore.
Yeah, then we're gonna go explore. But I think, you know, the facts that we got told about this little village is really, really good. So we thought we'd share it with you guys, and show you what we mean by why we call it the forgotten village. So we will see you guys in a minute when we get there. And just before we leave as well, you can see Soviet building, modernized building.
Just letting everyone know, it's -6 today.
Yeah, it's absolutely freezing.
Cold.
Yeah, it is absolutely freezing. It kind of feels like -10. I'm not even gonna lie.
My hands, even though they've got gloves on, feel like they're gonna fall off.
Yeah, I'm wearing so many layers, and I'm just so cold.
Yeah, today's the coldest day so far.
But our guide was telling us about how it can get to -25 here, -20.
Yeah, the one in Riga said that.
Yeah, so I mean, I couldn't imagine that.
No, we would just never leave the hotel.
No, never. So yeah, we are on our way to the forgotten village.
Go.
So if you can see, just here, they are skyscrapers. It's really modernised. It is, well, your typical capital city. But as soon as you get through here and you look the other way, it's a completely different scenery. So as you can tell, as you can see, all the buildings are made out of wood.
And the floor, there is no paving anymore, it's all stone.
And what's interesting about this, like we say, it's the forgotten village. If you go, this is literally a 2-minute walk from the capital. It is pretty much the capital.
It is the capital city.
City, the centre. It's literally a 2-minute walk, so it still is considered in the capital city. But none of the streets are actually taken care of. So if you lived literally 2 minutes out of this place, if there's snow, there'd be grit on it, there'd be sand to make sure it's not slippy. But here, nothing's taken care of. The government and local services, they don't look after it, and there is a lot of old people here, so it can get very dangerous. But when it was heavily snowing, none of this was looked after. It was just left how it is. I'm not quite sure what it's like when it comes to like bins. I don't know if they have to do it themselves, if they just have to put them somewhere, or if there is like a garbage person that does come and collect them, which I doubt. But yeah, like we said, a complete, in the background just there, you can see the big skyscraper. And we will be walking left and right quite a lot because there is some cars that come down here. So even though it does look abandoned, there is not a single bit here. There's not a single house where someone actually doesn't live, I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
most of them, 90% of them still have
And the ones
inhabitants.
that are abandoned are actually owned by people in the government. So people don't come in and just renovate it, I'm pretty sure. I'm not quite sure why. Or maybe they just want a bit of land.
But a lot of them are shared ownership, because in Soviet times, most of the people, because farming was then nationalised, a lot of people wanted to get out of the small villages, move into the city centre, just for a brighter life, I think. But the Soviets, in their bright ideas phase, decided to move like multiple people into kind of one building like this. So you'd have like, I don't know, families in one room.
And this is a good demonstration actually. So if you look at this house, if you keep the camera there, it has purple colours, yellow colours, red colours. That's because back in the day,
Or maybe even now.
even now, yeah, this whole building, even though it's tiny, it was split into different kind of sections. So a family would live in the purple bit, a family would live upstairs in that bit. So it kind of looks like it was different buildings, but really it was just one. And still some people are living like that today. So there's big disputes and arguments. So it'd be a shared house, but people would be like, well, can you just sell it so we can renovate it? And people would be like, no, we are happy how we live here like this.
It is important to mention though, a lot of construction companies have offered these people a fancy new house in the city, but obviously they can't offer them a garden if it's a skyscraper, and people just refuse. They want to live here, they're happy living here, and I think that's amazing. I mean, a lot of these places are beautiful. Some of them are run down, but
And what you have to realise, if you look here, you think rundown house, but a beautiful car. So a lot of the people here aren't actually poor. A lot of people here are actually quite wealthy.
yeah, so you assume that they've been born into poverty, but that's not the case.
That's not the case. They just want just some property here in the capital, right next to the city centre, because it's affordable, it's cheap, and if they want, they can just renovate it. And there you can see the Lithuanian flag.
And look at this one. This is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean it has been renovated, obviously. They have the Lithuanian flag right at the back, or right at the front, and we learnt that the yellow is sun. The yellow colour means sun, the red means blood, and the green means
Forestry.
Like forest, which was quite interesting. And it's weird how the yellow represents sun, because there's not a lot of sun here at all. And maybe you get a couple of weeks in summer, but that's about it. But you can tell like what we're standing on. None of it is cared about. None of it's renovated, or there's new pathways, and it is, like I said, quite dangerous for the elderly, because it is mainly elderly people that live here. That's what takes up most of the population. And another interesting fact is, obviously, the buildings here are made out of wood. There's another thing with the barking. There are a lot of dogs and cats here, mostly cats, black cats, roaming around here. You can see them just everywhere if you ever come visit here, which I do actually recommend, because it is quite a fascinating kind of view. But yeah, they roam everywhere. Well, because all the buildings are made out of wood, there's a lot of conspiracy theories that because people are trying to buy these properties off the locals, so they can renovate it and do whatever they want. Because they're not selling, they're mysteriously catching a light. Even when it's not really hot, they're catching a light. So there's a lot of conspiracy.
Because then it's no longer a renovation, because it's obviously there's nothing there to renovate.
So they don't need it anymore. So that is obviously a downside of living here. And another downside of living here is a lot of places don't have running water.
Or power.
No, so that means no. There's a shoe there. Oh, and we did walk past a pair of jeans that was just frozen in the road. So again, it just shows how little this place is cared about. But yeah, that means no showers, no taps, no toilet. So you must be wondering, like, well, where do these people go? I don't know if we walk past them. There is quite a lot, but we probably won't now. But there's places where there's public showers that are very small, and it consists of 2 buckets just hanging up, and it just falls on you. Obviously, it's not very popular now as it's very cold. But in the summer, there was a lot of it. People just go out and have a shower. Same with going to the toilet. There's public toilets, but it's actually illegal here now.
By the UN. The UN, not the UN.
The EU.
The EU are looking to
Ban.
Well, not ban, to fine Lithuania millions of euros for still having them in operation.
Yeah, which is bizarre, I think.
So there's less and less each year.
Yeah, so there are public toilets, public showers, and like I said, there's no running water. So the government have actually put in place green pipes where you can have running water, and people would have buckets.
We're probably going to find one in a minute, because look at the contrast at the end of the street. Just new buildings.
Yeah,
we're going to go.
Buildings.
Let's go this way.
Yeah. So this whole kind of street that we're talking about. Oh no, it's just down this way. This whole street that we're talking about, it consists of around 400 houses. So it is really big. So we're not going to take you around the whole place. But like Olivia said, like the contrast in just new buildings and literally a 10-second walk you're here is
But the Soviets did build all around this, but they left the wooden houses. They just left them, and they think that the Soviets had plans that were just never materialised.
Yeah, thankfully, because I think this places like this is a good little history lesson just to go by. This in the summer as well. I can imagine it's very green. There's grass everywhere. There's flowers growing. There's people outside talking to you.
Yeah, obviously in the winter does, unless there's snow, it paints everything in a negative view. So here we are, back to no pavement again.
Yeah. But yeah, to be fair, you'll be quite surprised. It really doesn't smell. So there's a few people here that obviously they're older people and they've just been brought up in this lifestyle. They don't really care about.
Yeah, they don't want to move.
They don't want to move. So them not having a shower for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, they don't care. It's just normal to them, whereas to us it isn't. Another dog.
Loud dog.
I guess they're not used to a lot of people walking around here.
Although I'm not sure, because they have tour groups.
Yeah, they're just tour groups that come here and talk about. Yeah, there is a couple of buildings that are so old they're sunk into where the pavement rose, and the building has just gone down. Where literally
I think it might be this one. Yeah.
The window is just on the pavement, which is quite cool. And literally right outside, renovations, new houses, new pathways.
So these were probably previously the wooden houses.
Yeah, that might have been burnt down by people. You don't want to go right into the middle of of this little town, just in case, because it is only just me and Olivia. Obviously I don't want to paint a bad light, it might be completely fine, but I just don't want to disturb these people, or
I mean, because it's their house. It's their house.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it's their houses. But a fun fact, there was a lot of cannabis plants here that was grown just in the middle of the pathways. And where it's so cold here, obviously you need a lot of heat for cannabis plants for it to really grow and excel. They just kind of died. So there's just dead cannabis leaves, dead cannabis plants everywhere. I think there might be some there, but that is a person's home, so I'm not going to go in it. But last year, it was so hot here, it was like 35 degrees. These cannabis plants started to excel and really started to perform, and they actually started to...
Well, Lidl sells cannabis oil here.
Yeah, so Lidl started buying these because they wanted to have cannabis oil for their customers that wanted to buy
Sorry
them.
about the construction noise.
Yeah, and they bought them, but where it was so hot, when they started to sell it, when people started to use it, they realised, damn, this product's actually getting me high. So it was all around the news stations and radio saying, well, can you please return it back to the shop because this isn't the intended purpose. Like, this product was getting people literally high, but you can imagine the amount of people that was like, no, we're good getting high for like such a cheap price. So that's a pretty cool fact here. But you can just tell there is renovations happening here. They're probably just building more housing.
The cars probably struggle to drive if we struggle to walk.
Yeah, there's so many potholes. Like I said, this bit isn't intended at all. It must be so hard just to...
But look, right at the end of the road.
Skyscrapers. Loads of them as well. I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's cool when you go right in the middle, you're surrounded by all these buildings, but if you look up just a bit, you can just see the skyscrapers. Yeah, like I said, these people, they don't want that life. They would rather stay here and live their best life. So we had to just quickly cut the video because there was a lot of construction happening and there was a lot of people, so we just thought we'd cut it and start again. What you might see in a minute, if you see like small little garages, the fun fact about those is, in the Soviet Union, if you were lucky enough to have a car, sometimes the government would gift you a garage. But the problem with these garages was they were so far away from people's houses. I think that might be one actually, right there. They're kind of like that, but when they were so far away from people's houses, people would actually have to take public transport to get from their house to their own garage. So it didn't really work. So what people ended up doing was building like a little man cave in there. So they'd go in there, they'd have their vodka, they'd have their drink, they'd do whatever men used to do back then, which is pretty interesting. So the garage system, I guess, just didn't work for them.
Oh, here we go. Here's a where people can get water from.
So that blue little thing here.
We won't go too close because this is someone's house.
Right here. This is where people would get their water, and then bring buckets with them, just to bring back to their house.
Well, it's not even back in the day. This is now.
Now, people still do that now because there is no running water, like you said.
In a lot of them. We're not really sure which houses would have running water, which ones wouldn't. I'm guessing these ones might, or maybe not.
Yeah, so obviously there's some that are getting renovated that will. And there's cool, like, sometimes little artwork pieces there. There was one where a building was burnt down and people made some art of like fire just around it. So obviously people that come here know what
Little mushroom?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, as you can see here, this is a perfect example with this house here. Yellow, red. So back in the day, or even now, this used to be a shared complex and they used to be considered as two different apartments.
But they were owned by two people.
Yeah. And again, I mean, the contrast, if you look that way, wooden buildings. If you look this way, skyscrapers. So, yeah, this is an amazing part, like, a bit of a history lesson. When we was walking down here, we didn't realise how much history this one kind of, these couple streets had. But yeah, I honestly do recommend if you're in VILNIUS to come here and try, look around yourself and have a really good time. And maybe you might meet someone that would let you in their house and you can be shown around.
Yeah, obviously we're not going to go knock on doors.
No, not just yet. We're not that confident. Even if we was, you would do that anyway. But we
Unless
are going to...
you're bald and bankrupt.
Unless you're bald and bankrupt, yeah, shout out. But we are going to end that video here because we don't really want to ruin it for you. We kind of want you to come here yourselves and learn about it yourselves and see some of the things that we actually haven't showed you. There is still so much to see here that we haven't showed you. So we do recommend you coming here. Like I said, it pretty much there's like a little dog.
This dog makes you think he's really big, but it's just like ours.
Have a little shot.
And look.
He's got his paw up.
Here you go, little guy.
Hello.
I don't think he's a very happy person.
No.
He probably...
This is a nice little house.
Yeah. He's just having his moment on camera.
I'm not going to show you everything, but we definitely recommend you guys coming here because learn it for yourself and see some of the things that we haven't shown you.
Yeah. But we're literally back
in the city, pretty much, which is crazy.
It'll be interesting to see how this place looks in 5-10 years, but we don't know.
Hopefully it is not burnt down, and hopefully
It's
not
all
been
still
bought out.
standing.
Yeah, because we'd love to come back in 5 years and see what's different about it. But that is going to be the end of this video. We are going to call it, in our kind of eyes, the forgotten little village, because that's what we believe
Even though
it
I
is.
think it's just the wooden house district.
Yeah, but I prefer the name.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are going to end the video here. We definitely recommend you guys coming to see this part of town for yourselves, and learn a bit of history about it, because it is very, very interesting. So we will see you guys
In the next video.
Thank you for watching.